Well, hey, what's that, Larry?
What's going on, John?
How are you, man?
I'm all right. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing great. Yourself?
Good. I can't complain.
Wow, you're in the greatest city in the world. What the
Oh,
hell would
don't
you
I know
complain
it.
about?
Don't we know it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. Look at all these lids, man.
Oh man, this is quite
This
the
is joint,
quite the
huh?
place, yeah. And great hats and the Blues are like brother and sister.
You know, the only other place I ever been like this was a place in Amarillo, Texas, and it not Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
sorry.
All right.
And it's a big hattery out there. I don't know. I can't remember the name of it, but a lot of the Dallas Cowboy football players have hats, commemorative hats there. And I went through that with BB King.
Oh wow.
And
Yes.
BB, so I believe BB bought a hat there, but I got a chance to go there and see all the hats, and it was amazing, man.
Yeah, there's a hat for every head too. Some
know
people
that-
figure like it doesn't work, but no, it works.
See how you wearing your hat right there, right now? It's some, I would like to find me something nice like that fits his head.
Well, bring your wallet.
I know that's right. I know that's right. Man, well, it's good to see you. It's awfully good to see you. And I don't know, I just thought that the next time I saw you, it's something I've been intending to ask you, man.
All right.
Whatever got you into cooking?
Man, need to eat. I started at a very young age, and I know as a guitar player, a lot of people start young.
I had heard about that too. I knew about that too.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it just was something that I always wanted to do, and I think I was born to do.
Right. I love it too. I'm an old jackleg. I don't even know how you would classify it, but I love food, and I love to cook. You can see I love food, but I mean, I love to cook. And by the fact that I've been lucky enough to travel and go a few places and see some different things, it really has sparked that interest in me. So for me, I'm not a professional, but I pay attention to things that's going on. And man, I have learned a lot of things just by being around people. And I'm so lucky to get a chance to talk to you today about food.
Right.
I want to learn a little something, steal something, man.
Well, that's what it's about. I mean, the fact that especially in the United States and in Chicago especially, all the different cultures coming together and putting and joining force on a plate is really great.
Right.
It's very interesting that a lot of Latino and Asian influences get into the food, and as a chef, a lot of the young cooks have brought their own home cultures into our cuisine in this city, which has been great.
Well, let me ask you another question. Did it take? I think the biggest thing to cooking is learning how to season. And I don't know if it's correct or not. I mean, I've watched a lot of cooking shows, man. I watched Pepin. I used to watch Justin, Emerald, Rachel, anybody that was cooking on TV because of my interest. I used to love to watch that to try to learn things. And it seems as though some people have some type of coloring system, or everybody seems to have their own system. And I'm just wondering how long it took you to get comfortable with that.
Probably a couple of years after I moved out of my parents' home, I did a lot of cooking for myself. Trying to do great recipes.
Did you mess up a lot of food
I
learning?
messed up a lot of food.
Trying to learn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But my first big dish was duck à l'orange, orange duck off the back of the Grand Marnier bottle. But you mentioned seasoning. I mean, it's the key to food.
It is, ain't it?
Especially salt. And everyone, for a while, people were really conscious about eating too much salt. You got to have salt in the food. Salt makes it sing, And I used to, when I was a young chef and I had these kids coming out of culinary school, they'd come in the kitchen and I'd fill their pocket with salt. And I'd say, before you go home and punch out tonight, I want you to use this pocket full of salt, man.
Okay.
Because a lot of people just don't season the food enough.
Right.
And if you don't have any salt and pepper, you're not going to get that.
You ain't got nothing.
So what got you going into music?
Music? Well, I grew up in rural southern Arkansas, way down in the southern part of the state, only 12 miles from the Louisiana line. And it was very agricultural, very blue collar working, poor people.
Of course.
And Jerry Clower, one of them, told a joke one time, said we were so far back up in the woods they had to pump sunshine back up in there to us, But we were on the end of a bus route. Our house was the last house on the road, and the bus had to make a turnaround to leave and get back. We were the last ones, but past our house was nothing but the open woods.
Wow.
So my daddy was a domestic worker, my mother also, and we kids worked, you know, in the summertime when we got out of school, we didn't get a break. We had to work the fields also.
Sure.
But in the evening time, when the work was all done, they would give us the last couple hours for leisure, you know, to play so we could be kids and stuff. So besides sports, the only other thing that we had was music. So before I left Arkansas, I never even got a chance to put my hand on an instrument, but I always loved music. My folks loved music. My dad could play harmonica and guitar.
Okay.
My big sister was passed the guitar from my dad's mother. My grandmother passed it to her. And then when I got big enough, she passed it on to me.
Very
and
cool,
that's
yeah.
kind of, we kind of entertain ourselves as family. You know, that's what we did
That's
for
what you had
pastime.
for home entertainment. Yeah.
We didn't have, we
No
wasn't nothing
TV.
else. Yeah, yeah. I remember when my dad and them used to walk a couple miles to go see Gunsmoke.
Wow. Well,
But that was before I think we got our first TV somewhere around 63, 64, somewhere along in there.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I can relate. Gunsmoke. I got that foot drag like Festus, man. I hurt my leg, and now I got the same condition. If I didn't have a brace on, I'd be dragging my foot
you for
going,
real?
Larry McCray, Larry McCray. Oh, no, I was Marshall Dillon, sorry.
Wow. Yeah, so I mean, you know, it started there. I moved to Michigan, and then I got a chance I moved in with my sister. She had already left years before. And I moved in with her, and then I got a chance to get my hand on a guitar. And all the other kids, every weekend, she had some musician buddies that would come to her house and play.
All right.
We'd push everything back in the living room. They would set up the music right there in the living room. Well, all the other kids would be out playing, ripping and running. I'd be right there sitting with all the grown folks, as which they didn't let us do very much you know,
Right.
back in them days. But
Bad influence.
because of my interest in music, they let me stay.
Very nice.
And that's how I got started.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's a little similar to my cooking thing because my father worked late all the time, you know, which meant go check the cash register at the local bar because that's what he did. He fixed cash registers. But when he'd get home, my mother would cook a second meal for him out of like the cookbooks.
Ah.
And because I had this interest and obviously some kind of a palate, they'd invite me to sit down and share a little bit of what she made for the old man.
Oh, yeah.
He,
That was cool.
he never gave me the bottle of Philadelphia, though, man. I don't know why.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't time yet.
Not yet.
It wasn't time yet. No. Hey, you know what? You know, one of my favorite things that we used to have back in the day was, you know, I told you we raised a lot of garden vegetables.
Sure.
Well, in Arkansas, most people know about black-eyed peas.
Right.
But down there, they have what they call purple hull peas or fresh garden peas. But they got purple hull peas. They have Crowder peas.
Crowder
They
peas.
have whippoorwill peas. They have, for real.
Yeah, no, I know what you're talking about.
Black eyes, you know, all
Yeah,
this different
yeah.
stuff. But my favorite was always the purple hull.
Purple hull.
And right now, today, if I have them, I do them the same way that we used to do, you know, when we started off. Now, I don't know if this is the best way, but the way we did it, we started off with a boil. We would take a smoked shank and put it in the pot, cut up a big onion, throw a big gob of garlic off in there.
Yeah.
And then, you know, seasoning, like, you know, man, we use a lot of Lowry seasoned
Sure, well,
salt
it's
and,
got
you know,
salt
stuff like
in
that.
it,
But,
yeah,
you know,
that's
salt
it,
it.
yeah.
And make sure that shank is right. When that shank is almost about 3/4 done, dump them fresh garden peas in there and let them simmer with
Right.
that. Oh, Lord have mercy.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
that's-
hot water cornbread.
Okay,
Hot water
yeah.
cornbread. But nowadays, instead of just doing it straight, I dice up red pepper, onion, and put a little garlic in the mix and make like a mix, and then put my boiling hot water and make
Yeah.
them
Well, you go,
almost like
a little more savory, the cornbread.
yeah.
Beautiful.
And you really want to put a kick in it. Dump a can of corn in there, whole
Oh,
kernel of corn
okay,
in there.
right, sure.
Yeah, fried it up. That with my peas, I love that.
You
brother.
know, you put poke in anything is good. Man.
That's right.
And you know, I got a pea recipe that's very renowned in town here, and it's got a lot of slab bacon in it. You know, big chunks of smoked bacon. But for me, the one memory I think I have of my mother's cooking, she cooked for an army every day, 7 kids, and then my father. But there's something I still do to this day, and in the winter and fall, when it's too cold to light the grill outside,
Yeah.
she used to make the hamburgers, which, you know, were not like they are now. They were nice, fresh, coarse ground beef, and they weren't like these homogeneous meatloafy patties that you
Right.
buy because they're pressed in a machine like
Yeah.
1,000 at a time. But she'd get those big, coarse chopped steak, and she'd get the big black cast iron pan like smoking hot, put some salt in there, and throw the burgers in there, and just brown them on each side, and they'd have that outdoor like charcoal flavor to them.
So that's the key. That's the key to put the layer of salt first.
Little salt, and then it just sears, gets that crust, you know, the crust on the burger that you can't beat it.
Wow.
And that's for indoor grilling.
Yeah, I love my cast iron too,
Yeah,
man. I
me
love
too.
some
I use
cast
them
iron.
all the time, but you
Yeah.
got to take the battery out of the smoke detector, man.
You
It's
go
the
have
only
some, yeah,
problem.
yeah.
So, Larry, give me an idea who maybe one of your favorite or best shows you've seen over the course of your life.
Right. Well, you know, I started coming here around about 1987, 6 or 7. I was here for the third annual Chicago Blues Fest.
Wow, yeah.
But out of all that time, man, you know, besides the Kingston Mines and over at the Checkerboard, man, there was so much great music played. I really used to enjoy seeing Junior Wells a lot. I saw Junior at the Checkerboard. That was probably one of my most memorable occasions,
Sure.
seeing him and meeting him. Of course, Buddy. But shoot, let me see, man, that's a hard one.
It really is, man.
That's a hard one. That's a hard one there. I really love watching Albert King and Albert Collins. So I got a
too.
chance to see Albert Collins at Blues Etc.
Okay.
Blues
I
Etc.
saw him
over on
too,
Belmont.
yeah.
And
Now, you played with Albert, right?
I toured with Albert a little bit in the 90s. Like the last 3 years of his life, I was really close with him, man.
Yeah,
I got to know
something
him quite well. And my whole musical career anyway, because I mean, you know, my background and everything. So I never thought that I would get a chance to play music or to be out here to call myself an artist, you know. So when I got a chance to start coming to Chicago and playing and doing some of the things in some of the venues that I got a chance to do, that was the greatest thing in the world.
Oh, yeah.
I could never replace that experience with all the money in the world, you know.
Right.
B.B. King, Albert King, and Albert Collins were my three primary heroes. The only one I didn't get a chance to meet was Freddie.
Freddie, yeah.
If I could have met him, man, I was ready to go on to heaven right
Yeah,
there.
no question.
So back to the question. My favorite one. I'm just gonna have to say, just to say something, I'm gonna say the Iceman at Blues Etc.
Etc.
Yeah, Iceman Blues Etc. But I called Otis Clay. I called Big Wheeler, the Wheelers, Golden Wheeler, Big Wheeler, James Wheeler.
James Wheeler.
I used to see Buster Benton, Robert Covington, Valerie Wellington, Barbara LaShore.
Wow.
AC Reed.
AC.
I mean, it just who I lived down there on Austin Street, man. I loved it, and I was just talking about today. I wish some of those days could come back again, man. Yeah,
AC played with Albert Collins.
yeah, for sure,
yeah.
for sure. Master Charge and all that
You
stuff.
know that, and for me, Albert Collins is probably, he's my one or two.
Yeah,
Yeah, but and I saw him many times, and what a great band always, and just to me one of the just most the licks and the lyrics that he would write, like going to like conversation with Collins, and he says, "House shoe laid out, paper on the table. I very seldom read. I thought I was in the wrong house."
I know that's right.
It's just fabulous. But my number one was Otis Rush.
Oh yeah,
You know, I mean, we got to see him many times here in Chicago, and a few times before we were old enough to be in the club.
right.
And we conned the doorman, man. We said, "You don't understand, man. Otis Rush is going to play in there 1 hour. We have to be there."
I got to tell you something, brother. I had a chance to play with Otis. I played with Otis at the Duluth Blues Festival in Duluth, Minnesota.
If you're in Duluth, you got the blues.
Yeah, it was summertime. It was summertime, you know, festival time.
Yeah.
They have a pretty decent festival over there. So this one particular year, Otis was there, and they came to me. They say, "Hey, we want you to do something different, you know, changed up on set for me. You know, I had a 90-minute set. They say, we want you to do half of your set, and the second set, we want you to play with Otis Rush. Oh, wow. And so at first, you know, I pretended like I didn't want to, oh man, all right. When they got out the room, I was like, yes. Otis Rush, I mean, you know, it was such a great thing, man. And the good thing about it, he brought a flying V the same day that I was there, and I used to tote my V too. So,
really?
Yeah, and a picture of it surfaced up on the internet here ain't been long ago. I got it saved into my phone. I have to show it to you.
Yeah, I want to see it. Yeah.
So, but you know what? I had something else that came to me that's absolutely high off the charts on my favorite list. I saw Albert Collins and Albert King as special guests for Gary Moore at the Hammersmith Odeon. We were the support band for that tour. Yeah. Wow. And so Gary Moore, this particular night, you know, he had a hit with "Oh Pretty Woman," right? And him and Albert Collins were doing Too Tired for Anything. Yeah. So, man, I got a chance to see both of them playing with Gary Moore. Wow. So that was quite an experience.
Pretty
also,
cool, yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty doggone cool. And Luther Allison got to be in there somewhere too. Like you know, like we talked, it was so many great ones still working out here in the late '80s and '90s. It was still a lot of good blues going on.
Yeah, man. Fenton Robinson. I remember seeing Fenton Robinson at Wise Fools one time back in the late 70s.
Kid you not. I'm gonna show you some pictures, man. When Mr. Dixon died, when Willie Dixon died, myself, Junior Wells, Albert Collins, and Fenton Robinson all had a jam down at Buddy Guy's Legend.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Very cool, man.
Yeah. A lot of people, I don't talk this to a lot of people because a lot of people wouldn't believe you. Oh, you lying, man. That ain't the truth. You know,
or they just don't know.
They don't know. But I mean, for people who really don't know, they would probably just think you're making it up. So I don't share that with a lot of people, you know?
I'm really happy you shared it.
Well, I mean, of course we can talk, you know what I'm saying? But I just feel that way that so many people wouldn't appreciate it or might think that it's made up or something, you know? Hey, man, what's the craziest thing you ever put on the grill?
Wow, craziest thing. Well, there's a product that comes in the springtime out of the Atlantic Ocean. Only 2 places in the world, and they're the babies of eels, sea eels.
Baby eels?
Baby eels, and they are born off the coast of Venezuela.
Wow.
And they take the Gulf streams and they end up in Spain or they end up in Maine, which is really kind of bizarre.
Spain or Maine.
Spain or Maine. And they end up in the estuaries and they breed there, and they are delicious. So, but the thing is,
how big are they?
They're that big.
Oh, just
white eels.
Okay.
All you see is their little eyes poking up.
Okay.
And I've had guys, Italian guys that were familiar with them, where they'd eat them live. Just start putting them crawling around in their beard.
Get out of here.
One guy put them in his wine and swirled them around. But you throw those on the flat grill. It's not like a wood grill. They call it a plancha in Spain and in Mexico. And you put them on there and they dance like they're going to the show, man. They just bounce all over, and then you hit them with lemon juice, and you eat them, man, and that's it. So that's probably one of the most.
Are they good? You like
They're
them?
Delicious. They taste like the ocean. I mean, like a lot of stuff out of the ocean.
Right.
They taste like the sea. Right. But I think the shock value is really great.
Right. You know? I quite like ceviche. I really like that.
Ceviche. Yeah. Wonderful. Yeah. And that's down when you're in Chile. I'm sure you probably ate some ceviche.
Get a good one down there. Yeah. But you know what surprised me about Chile? I didn't know that Chile proclaims themselves as the salmon capital of the world.
They do. They raise a ton of salmon down there.
I didn't know that. And so they had, down there, they had this dish which you could get with salmon and a filet, and they called it salmon Chattanooga.
Chattanooga.
Yeah, that's the name they give it in this particular restaurant.
Some guy was at Joe's Bar and Grill, Chattanooga, Tennessee one
guess
time.
So.
Man. I don't know if they know how to spell it, but they named the dish after it. Chattanooga.
Yeah.
I got to look that up when I get home.
It was either Chattanooga or Charleston.
Either way, they're dancing.
I'm seriously, now that I think about it, I don't know if it was Chattanooga or Charleston?
I like Chattanooga, Larry.
I think I don't want to tell you nothing wrong, but if you find out, let me know which one it was. It was either or.
All right.
Either or.
We do that.
Yeah.
Man. That was great, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Larry, what are you thinking about? What are you gonna play for us?
You know what? I was a big Lazy Lester fan.
Lazy Lester.
And I got a chance to work with Lazy, you know, from the 80s, you know, off and on up until the time that he passed.
Wow.
And just love the guy, man. That Lazy Lester, the first person that ever brought me to Chicago.
Really?
And I want to do one of Lazy's songs.
Very cool.
This is called Sugar Coated Love by Lazy. You ought to see my baby. The girl's so doggone fine. She loves me every morning and every night, and she's always on my mind.
Yeah.
She got sugar coated love. Yeah, sugar coated love. She's a real grown baby. Don't mean it, maybe she's mine. Well, I don't have to worry about money. I don't have to worry about clothes. I don't have to worry about anything. She's my baby, and goodness knows.
Yeah.
She got sugar coated love. Yeah, sugar coated love. She's a real grown baby, and I don't mean it, maybe she's mine. Oh yeah. Well, if you wanna know what sugar coated love is, it's the very best love that they got. It's the kind of love makes the old feel young. It will make the North Pole hot. That sugar coated love. Yeah, sugar coated love. She's a real grown baby. Don't mean it, maybe she's mine. She's a real grown baby. Don't mean it, maybe she's mine. She's a real grown baby. Don't mean it, maybe she's mine. Sugar coated love.
Yeah, right on, man. Awesome.
Believe me and you, my brother.
Woo!